fit in this frame is like kind of contortioning yourself to do some sort of magic trick. And that magic trick is to talk about Captain America.
Brave New World.
Brave New World. Good evening, it's Adam and Thalia here for you tonight with another quick instant movie review. So tonight we saw Captain America The Brave New World. This is the 35th Marvel Cinematic Universe film. And it tells the story of after the election of Thaddeus Ross, played by Harrison Ford, who is now the President of the United States, Sam Wilson finds himself in the center of an international incident that he must stop in order to find out who the true masterminds are behind all this kerfuffle that's going on. This is directed by Julius Omar from a screenplay by, let's count them, five different writers. I want to point out the screenplay people because if this was Superman, they would be the kryptonite of this movie. That would have turned Superman into a dribbling homeless mess, because that's pretty much what these people have done to this movie, as far as I'm concerned.
Agreed.
There we go. That's a really quick and simple review.
Yeah, pretty much. I think we both agreed that the performances in this film were great. You know, Harrison Ford did a great job. Anthony Mackie did a great job. You know, majority of the performances were incredible. The script was just a complete and utter letdown. Like, it was so cringy. Some of it was hard to watch.
Honestly, I thought this was written by a 5-year-old with a box of crayons.
It felt like someone went, let's try and put every single hero-ish line and put horrible music and a score behind it to make it seem like it's a hero line, and instead just make the audience go, that was an interesting decision.
So much to the point that a particular thing happens between two characters. I won't say who those characters are, just in case it is a bit of a spoiler. But at the end of this big hero speech, they sort of break and go, was that a bit too much? And I was like, thank God you did that, because yes, it really was. That's the biggest problem with this film, as you mentioned, Thalia, I think, is I was just cringing with some of the dialogue. I'm like, is this going to get better? But it got more crunchy, I think, as we went along, which is such a shame, because Harrison Ford, he's putting his all into this as much as he can. It's the sincerity, it's the finger point. You get the greatest hits of Harrison Ford in this. You get an old man run. You get the finger point. You get the snarl, you get the happy, you get the tear, you get all of it. And even with a bit of a Red Hulky moment, you even get a scar on the chin, which is really nice little touch point. But holy Godfather, seriously, I was cringing. And this, to me, indicated one really interesting thing. So it's been a while since we've had a Marvel film in a cinema. And since the heady days of Endgame and the end of Phase 1, you know, it's been really interesting to see independent cinema coming in and occupying a lot of cinema time. What that's done is it's indicated to me how good some of the script is, with a really small budget, and making the most out of a good story with a low budget to give you a great cinematic experience. This flips it on the head, where you've got a film with a massive budget, with a terrible script, and it not delivering what it should do, which is be full entertainment.
And that's what I was saying before, is that what Marvel fans miss about Phase 1 is the banter. They miss the quips, that quippy nature, that quippy humor. They miss that moment where, even though you do get your massive hero speeches, you do get those speeches that they feel inspiring, because the characters feel more human. They feel more like you have more of a connection between characters. Whenever they do it nowadays, it feels forced, because they never actually like, you have moments in this film with Joaquin Torres and Sam Wilson's character where they are actually quite funny, because you can feel it's kind of like a broy little, like, haha, you know, best buds. And that's what people want when it comes to dialogue, and instead they seem to be shoving it full of all these allegories and shoving it full of, we need to have hero moment every 2 seconds. That's not what people want from a script in a film like this.
Yeah.
The reason why people love Captain America, they love Iron Man, they love those original films, and even why people love the scripts of Endgame and stuff like that, is because even though you do have those emotional moments, it's always broken up by this humor it's so very genuine. Like, it feels genuine, and I think that's what they've been really missing from the past couple of films that they've released. And it always seems to be the problem for me, is that I've always, like, you know, never really hated any of the performances in majority of the new films that have come out in phase 4 or phase 3 now.
Yeah.
It is just the fact that they are missing what originally made these films so appealing, and that is just the fact that it felt genuine, and it felt kind of like a Marvel fans, you know, they're actually coming in from the comics being like, it feels nerdy, like, it felt nerdy now, and nowadays it feels more like, oh, we have to make a big budget film. People are expecting a spectacle, and we're like, we're not expecting a spectacle, we're expecting a good film.
Yeah, and it's tricky, isn't it? Because I think the thing is, with the Captain and the Winter Soldier, what they really tried to, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I think what they tried to do was make it a bit more grounded, a little bit more earthy, and a bit more bitey, and you know, a little bit of banter there between Bucky, you know, and Sam, and you know, that kind of worked kind of nicely, you know, but then they also had a bit of a heavy layer of you know, seriousness. This one tries to capture all of that, but with a really just poo script. The dialogue was so bad, and you know, I was sitting there, I felt bad for the actors. I felt bad for Anthony Mackie to have to deliver the lines that he had to say and not crack up saying them. And Harrison Ford, like, I'm sorry, Harry, you must have been paid so much money to do this film, because the dialogue you had to say, I felt bad for you. I really,
another thing that didn't help was that the music was just...
Oh, let's talk about it.
Okay, so the music of this film is the next problem we have to discuss, because it was completely overpowering in parts.
Yeah,
like
Lara Cartman did the score for this, and she actually got an Academy Award nomination for American Fiction, I think it was 2 years ago or last year, and she's won some Emmys for some TV work. So, and she's 65 years old, so she knows how to do a composition.
It's not even the actual composition itself, it's where it's placed.
So then is that back down to the editors. So Matthew Schmidt and Madeline Gavin did the editing on this. So are you then going, okay, well, is it the fault of the editors? Because the music sits in the most weird spots where there doesn't need to be music. And
like, it overlaps dialogue that should have been in silence.
It overlaps dialogue, it overlaps scenes, and then it kind of finishes halfway through a scene. You're like, did they just place
and it sometimes
in the wrong
finishes halfway
spot?
through, like, an actual, like, composition to, like, it will stop halfway through, like, a piano melody or piano riff. Like, it will stop, it won't ever be a finish. And
just turn the just look at the visuals. I'll turn the sound down. Oh my god, that's very embarrassing. So yeah, there was something odd there, and to be honest, I did not like this score anyway. Like, you know, I know that this lady has won an Academy Award. It was just too obvious, I think, and yes, there's a few little harkbacks to
the original theme.
So a bit of Alan Silvestri in there. You know, you've got a little bit of that. You got a little bit of the Cap theme going on. You know, you got Sam's theme filtered throughout this as well. So we've got a bit of menage a trois of lots of different themes. But it was, it just didn't work.
It's disappointing is what it is.
All of the mechanics here were wrong. The pieces of the puzzle were there. They were just put in the wrong order. And someone said, I'm drawing this puzzle with a set of crayons. That's the dialogue. Like, just...
And we were saying that if they just cut, like you were saying with independent cinema, if they cut the screenwriters down to 2 really good screenwriters, they'd work to create a script that was fitting of the genre, fitting of the things they wanted to capture. They would have created a film that was so much more engaging and would have given the actors the ability to showcase their
Mm.
true like talent. Because
Mm.
Anthony Mackie was great with what he had. Harrison Ford was great with what he had. Joaquin Torres's actor, I can't remember his name for the life of me right now, whoopsie, but he was
Phoenix.
great with what he had. He was so like bitey. He was one of those characters that I actually enjoyed watching because he was actually funny.
Yeah.
Like he was actually funny. Like he was actually adding that bit of humor to it. And it just is disappointing to see that they weren't able to fully capture it to the degree that I was hoping they would. Like, I was really hoping this film was going to be great to prove to all those people that were saying that Sam Wilson shouldn't have been the Captain America and Bucky Barnes should have been the next Captain America, like in the comics, blah, blah, blah. And it's really disappointing to me that they've kind of made it to the point where it's like...
Maybe they've got a point.
Yeah.
And it is unfair.
Yeah.
But you know what? We've got it. Here it is. And I think the biggest shame is that this is just a bit of another nail in the coffin for Marvel, which is really
Unless they bring it back with
really
Thunderbolts.
sad. Well,
I'm still praying.
I guess we'll wait and see. But at this stage, I think I'm actually looking forward to the new Superman film so I'm looking forward to more DC than I am for Marvel at the moment, which is a lot. But anyway, what would you give Captain America: Brave New World?
Probably a 6.
Oh, I think you're being really kind on this movie. I would go 5.
I'm going to say a 6.
Yeah, that's very nice of you. That's very nice of you.
Yeah.
I
I love you, Anthony Mackie.
I wrote my 5 in a crayon, just like the screenwriters. Anyway, tell us what film you thought was great, except it had an absolute poo script. All the mechanics were there, but the script just let it all down. If you can name one film, I'm sure you're doing very well. Comment below, let us know. That is it for us. Don't forget to subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your daughter. To
Crazy.
subscribe. And we'll catch you next time here in my car.